Okay, here we are in ninth lit, and we're starting in the C section on page 117, and Reese just answered a question about the reversals, and so there are two reversals, and Mallory helped her. The two reversals are the French are now losing, they were winning, and now instead of being the one who doesn't want to blow the horn, Roland is the one who does want to blow the horn, and actually it's going to be Oliver. If it weren't so serious, it would be funny. Oliver is telling him, no, we're not going to blow the horn. So it's really weird how it changed. So let me read it. 129. I'll sound, quoth Roland, my Oliver straightway. When Carlin hears passing through gate of Spain, I pledge my word the French will turn again. Quoth Oliver, I would be foul disdain, and your kindred the reproach would be great. All their lives long they'd not lived down the shame. When I desired you, why then you said me nay. If now you do it, of me you'll get no praise. Blow if you will, such conduct is not brave. Nay, but how deep in blood your arms are bathed. The Count replies, I've struck good blows this day. How do you explain Oliver's reversal? Now Roland wants to blow it, and Oliver now says, don't, it would be shameful. There's a little hint here as to why he's acting that way. Does anybody see it?
It would be foul disdain.
Yeah, he's the one, but how do you explain that? How do you explain now he says it would be shameful for us to blow the horn? Well, I think a little key is when he says, when I desired you, why then you said to me nay. So what does it sound like? Listen, when I asked you to do it, you wouldn't do it. Now you're asking me. Does it sound like spite, maybe? He's saying, I'm not going to do it because you didn't listen to me, so I'm not going to listen to you. I don't know if that's really what it is, but it sounds a little bit like that. Why don't we start with Megan? We'll come up the row. Read number 130.
Said Roland then, Lord Davies is the fight. I'll sound my horn for Charles and he will ride. Quoth Oliver, Lord Davies, you say the night. I ask you, comrade. Then you refuse for pride. Had Charles been there, then all would have gone right. He's not to blame more than the night side. Now by my dear could he if ever I again behold my sister, the right between her arms very tonight.
Circle the name Aude. I asked a French person one time. She's a native-speaking French person. She's born in France, and I asked her how to pronounce it, and she said "oude," almost like Oode. It also looks like the car manufacturer Audi, except Audi has those two dots over the E. But that is I'm trying to remember who she is. It is Roland's fiance. It's Oliver's sister. Roland's going to marry her if he survives, which we know he's not going to survive. But just remember her name, Oude, A-U-D-E. Yes, sir.
Where is this at?
Bottom of 117, the second line from the bottom. Remember her name. All right, we'll go to Reese.
Quoth Roland, why so angry with me, friend? And he, companion, who got us in this mess. There is a wise valor, and there is recklessness. Prudence is worth more than foolhardiness. Through your o'erweening, you have destroyed the French. Never shall we do service to Charles again. Had you but given some heed to what I said, my lord had come, the battle had gone well, and King Marsil had been captured or dead. Your prowess, Roland, is a curse on our heads. No more from honest fool Charlemagne has hope, whose life till doomsday shall not be seen of him.
just, again, more of the same. Oliver is almost like, I told you so, we should have done it, we wouldn't be in this fix, but we can't do it now. And, your lips,
When the archbishop thus hears them in dispute, when his gold spurs and pricks his steed anew, draws near to them and utters this rebuke, Lord Oliver, and you, Lord Roland, too. Let's have no quarrel, O God's name, twixt you two. It will not save us to sound the horn, that's true. Nevertheless, 'twere better so to do. Let the king come, his vengeance will be rude. None shall to Spain ride home with merry news. After our French will light them down on foot. Seek out our bodies and limbs and underhewn. Let us on biers borne upon smarter mules, and weep for us with grief right pitiful. In the church close we shall have burial due, and not the good for dogs and swine and wolves. Quoth Roland, sir, your words are right and good.
all right, so they're arguing about who's gonna, should he or should he blow the horn? And Archbishop, he basically intervenes and comes up with a solution. What's the solution? Is he for it or against it? He's for it. He suggests that they do blow the horn, but what's his reasoning? It's not to save them. He says it's too late. We can't be saved. So why blow the horn? What does he say? Look at it. Nevertheless, 'twere better to do so. Let the king come. His vengeance will be rude. So if you sound the horn, at least Charlemagne can get here in time to avenge our deaths, which is exactly what happens. Plus, we can get buried instead of, lie here for the dogs and the pigs. So we'll keep going. We'll go to Emily.
Roland has set elephant on to his lips. Firmly he holds it and blows it with a will. Higher the mountains, the blast is long and true. 30 great leagues the sound went echoing. King Carlin heard it, and all who rode with him. Lo now, our men are fighting, quoth the king. Heinous retorts, if any man said this except yourself, it were a lie, he
Let's see if there's any question. We'll come back to 42. All right. Wow, we missed several here. Let me, we've done 45. Why does Roland change his mind? We know what the answer is, so you can answer that. Why does Roland change his mind? We'll look at 45. And we'll come back to those others. Why does Roland change his mind? Yeah, well,
They don't have any soldiers left.
he sees that it was a bad decision. He sees they're losing, and so he wants to make up for it. And we just talked about why Oliver might be against it. And number 46, 46, how does pride factor in both Roland's and Beowulf's decision? I think you can answer that on your own. Anybody want to do that? Yeah, David.
They take like more risks.
Say that again?
They take more risks. And it's,
Yeah, and what does pride have to do with it, Reese?
Well, he didn't want to sound the horn because he was being prideful and didn't want to ask for help.
Because if you ask for help, you don't get all the glory. You have to share the glory, and so that's his decision. That's 46. 47 is Oliver fair in his speech to Roland. That's your decision, but what do you think? Is Oliver's position now is it's too late, you had your chance, we can't do anything about it now. Roland is a curse on our heads. Your prowess, your pride has cursed us. You'll have to decide if that's too harsh or not. That's question 47. So we'll go back to the others in a minute. But my question was, well, I think maybe we can answer. No, not yet, we can't answer 48. So we've answered 47, 46, 45, 44. Did we answer 44?
Yeah.
I think we did, and we answered 43 and 42, so we're in good shape. All right, so in 133, remember the Archbishop encourages them to blow the horn so Charlemagne can get revenge. He blows the horn. How far away is Charlemagne at this point? It says 30 great leagues. I think I told you most leagues are between 2.5 and 4.5 miles. So let's just conservatively say it's 3 miles. What's 3 times 30?
60. No, 90.
Okay, 90. Do you think you could stand here in Greensboro and blow a horn and somebody 90 miles away in Charlotte would hear it? No, probably not. Plus there's all the other noise, you know, you think about that. So this is an example of exaggeration. However, does anybody want to give a scientific reason that it might be possible? Yeah.
It was standing on top of the hill and it was going down into a valley.
Well, not only in a valley means what? If it's a valley, what do you got on both sides?
Like walls.
Mountain walls, right? Okay, the mountain. So how's the sound gonna travel?
It's gonna bounce back and forth.
So it might echo all the way 90 miles, but that's the explanation. I mean, that's a plausible explanation. And so look in number 133. Charlemagne says, "Lo, now our men are fighting." And Ganelon reports, "If any man said this except yourself, it were a lie, methinks." So this is question number 48. What is Ganelon trying to do even here? Yeah.
Make it seem like there is no more.
Right, he's gonna try to say, no, you didn't hear what you just heard. It's not a horn, or something. He's gonna come up with several examples. So we're talking about 75, maybe 90 miles away. So, Emily, you just read, didn't you? Okay, Will, did you read?
No.
Would you read number 134?
The county rolling with pain and anguish wins his elephant and blows with all his might. Blood from his mouth comes spurting scarlet bright. He bursts the veins of his temple outright. From hand and horn the call goes shrilling high. King Carlin hears it who through the passages ride. Duke Naaman hears it and all the French beside. Quoth Charles, I hear the horn of Roland cry. He'd never sound it but in the thick of fight. There is no battle, Count Ganelon replies. You're growing old, your hair is sere and white. When you speak of this, you're talking like a child. Full well you know Roland's overweening cry. 'Tis strange that God endures him so long time. Took he not nobles against your orders quite. The Paynims made a sally from inside, and there gave battle to Roland the great knight. So he spilled down the field, a brave device to keep blood stains from coming to your eyes. For one small hair he'll blow from morn till night. Now to appears he's showing off his style. Who dare attack him? No man beneath the sky. Ride on, why loiter here the while? Our father's land lies distant many a mile.
So we're really answering number 48 again. So what's another excuse that Roland, that is Ganelon makes to minimize what they're hearing?
He's too old.
Yeah, he doesn't understand it. He says if he's blowing the horn, what's the reason Ganelon says he's blowing it? It's not because he's in trouble, it's what?
Because he's showing off.
He's showing off. And you don't need to listen to him. And by the way, you're too old. I don't know what that has to do with it. But that's what he said. Look at question number number 49. What happens to Roland when he blows the horn? Go back to the beginning of 134. What happens to him? Why does he bleed? Yeah.
The veins of his temples burst.
Again, it sounds to me somewhat exaggerated, but is that possible?
Yeah.
Is it possible to blow into something like, have you ever tried to blow up a little balloon and you blow into it and it just about, have you ever had that sensation? Or maybe there's something to it, but that's the explanation. By the way, the only wound that we know of that Roland will sustain in this battle is that one right there. It's the only time he actually sheds any blood. That we're aware of, never mentions any other time. All right, so we've answered all the way through 49. Why don't we go over here? Mallory, would you read number 135? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Count Roland's mouth was running blood as red. His burst asunder the temples of his head. He sounds his horn in anguish and distress. King Carlin hears, and so do all the French. Then said the king, this horn is long out of breath. His blown, quoth Naaman, with all a brave man's strength. Battle there is, and I know full well. He that would stay you is but traitor fell. To arms, let sound your battle cry to heaven. Make haste to bring your gallant household help. You hear how Roland makes desperate lament.
All right, number 50. Who is it that figures out that Ganelon has betrayed them? Look. What? No, it's not the king. It's Naaman. That's right. Naaman is the one. It's answer to number 50.
It was trying to fly forward, but it flew backwards. Like he fell to the side of the tree.
Was that what was that?
It was on like the tree and tried flying and like forward to like a really big gust of wind and he tried flying and he like started floating backwards and he ran to the tree.
These are weird things, aren't they?
Yes.
Porta potties flying down the street, birds flying backwards. All right, so we go to 136, Gracie.
Emperor Charles let sound his horn aloft. The French light down and arms themselves. With helm and hauberk and gilded swords girt on. Deadly their shields, their lances stiff and strong. Scarlet and white and blue they confound. Straightway to horse the warrior lords have got. Swift through the passes they spur and never stop. Each unto other they speak and never respond. Might we reach Roland ere we were dead and gone. Strike good strokes beside him and gone. What use is that? They delay too long.
So what do they think they can do now? What do the French think they can do? We know they're not because we know how it ends. But what do they think? Yeah.
That will reach them like before we can.
That's right. They think they can rescue them. Lauren.
Rescuers draws on and shining into day, against the sun glitters their arms array. Hauberk and helm flash back mighty blaze, sending shields with painted flowers display. Such stores, spears, gilded pennants gay, the emperor rides right, wrathful on his way. And all the French in anger and dismay, there is not one but weeps for their rage. For Roland's sake they grievously afraid. The king arrests Count Ganelon straightway. He turned him over to the cooks in his
look at 51. How do they treat Ganelon? Look at it. How do they treat him? And he is a traitor, but I think they overdid it, and they're not done. How do they treat him? Yeah, Zach.
They plucked the beard from off his chin and face,
Right?
and they pound him and with sticks and then and paste.
Well, that's true, but how many are there that are pounding? How many pound Ganelon?
4.
It says they pound him 4 sound thumps each gives him. So each cook hits him 4 times. How many cooks are there? 5. Look at it again. It says 5 score. 5 times 20 would be what?
100.
So how many times do they hit him?
4.
400 times. I'm not sure he could survive that, but that's what they do. Each hits him 4 times, and then they're not done. What else do they do? They put they did that.
They round his neck with his chain.
They put a chain around his neck and put him on a pack mule, and he's gonna ride all the way back to France, and then they're gonna have a trial. By the way, does it surprise you that the shields, the French shields, have flowers painted on them? Seems like an odd, wouldn't you want lightning bolts or skulls or hammers or something like that? I mean, can you imagine a biker gang riding down the street with flowers on their jackets? You know, they have to have something fierce and something, dragons maybe, flowers. Where does the flowers come from? Why would they use flowers? But why would you use a flower to put on a shield when you're going to battle? That seems like that's sending the wrong message. Like, are any of you football fans, NFL football fans? Right. Any of you ever seen the New Orleans Saints play? Anybody know what the logo of the New Orleans Saints is?
Bunch of diamonds.
Say it again. It's a fleur-de-lis, which is, it's like 2 petals go this way and 1 petal goes up. You've seen it down their helmet. That's called a fleur-de-lis. That was the French national symbol. Now, it hadn't always been, but in other words, it's a flower. And that's why they wear flowers. When we're gonna watch a little bit of Henry V. He wants to be king of France and England. He's the king of England. So he has this shirt, and on the left side of the shirt are lions, like that represent England. And on the right side of the shirt are fleur-de-lis that represent France. So if you ever see the fleur-de-lis, that distinctive flower that you see the New Orleans Saints. Oh, by the way, why would the New Orleans Saints, an American city, an American football team, have a French symbol on their helmets? They're Americans. Why would they have French? Or why didn't they have Spanish? Or why not German or some other? Yeah.
Didn't the French use the Mississippi River a lot to trade and stuff? And that's like one of their spots was New Orleans.
It's New Orleans. Orleans is a town in France. Orléans. And the French Quarter, have you ever heard of the French Quarter in New Orleans? I've never been there. So yes, the French used to own Louisiana, and how did we get it?
The Louisiana Purchase.
The Louisiana Purchase, Thomas Jefferson. So you see there's this connection. So let's, yes.
Did they get Admiral?
I can't hear you.
Can I have Admiral? I have an answer for that.
You can go get one. I don't have one. And go wherever you go downstairs, they'll take it. All right, so we're moving to 138, and Lauren, you just read, or did you? Okay, we'll go to Jude.
Hills and shadowy and high, deep in the vales, the living streams run by. The trumpet sound before them and behind, all with one voice, all with one reply, in wrath of heart. The emperor Carlin rides, and all the riches are within it hired. There's none but grieves and weeps from out his eyes. They all prayed God to safeguard Roland's life, so they may come into battle by his side. Once they are with him, they'll make it a great fight. What use is that? Their prayers are empty and quiet. Too long they've lingered, they cannot come in time.
So in case you had any doubt, they're not gonna make it. The narrator tells us it's too late. Zach, you read, right? Okay, we'll go back this way. Go ahead. 139.
King Charlemagne writes on, and anger grew, over whose irony flows the white beard of him. All the French barons beside him spur, bill, or full swift. There's none of them but is with fury filled, not to be aiding Roland of Pulley. Now that he's fighting Spanish Saracens, he's hurt so sore, I fear he cannot live. God and what men, though 60 with him still, better had never nor captain nor yet king.
All right, just a little thing there, but I'd like you to circle. It says Roland the Paladin. Do you know what a paladin is? Because it's the only time in the book it calls him that. Do you know anything about Furman University in Greenville, South Carolina? You ever heard of it? You know what their nickname is? The Paladins. A paladin is a knight, K-N-I-G-H-T. So they're gonna try, but they're not gonna make it. Ian? Yes.
Roland surveys the mountains and the fells. How many French he sees there lying dead. Like a good knight, he makes them discernment. Barons, my lords, may God of his largesse bring all your souls to paradise the blessed. Made bright flowers to make their hallowed beds. I never saw braver or truer men. So long you served me unceasingly and well. So many lands conquered for Carlin's realm. The emperor bred you alas to what sat in. O dearest land, fair nursery of the French. By what hard art thou stayed bereft? Barons of France, for me you go to death. Not can I give you a safeguard or defense. Now aid you God, who near failed in the end. Oliver, brother, you shall not lack my help. Though none should slay me, I'll die, grieve no less. Sweet sir, companion, let's go and fight for.
So he's trying to, now we're back with Roland, he's trying to encourage his men, but he thinks they'll die, and they will. Mallory.
The county Roland returns into the field, and like a warrior, with dwindled wheels, Calvin drew the major concludes with 24 besides of great esteem. Never on vengeance was any man so keen. Keen as the deer before the deerhound fleets. So before Roland the cannon show their heels. Quoth the archbishop, well done indeed. Valor like this becomes a knight of breed, that bears his arms and sits a goodly steed. Forward and fierce in battle should he be, else he's not worth a single penny piece. This he turned and admonisheth me, and for our sins pray daily on his knees. Quoth Roland, strike safety. At this the French renew the fight with speed. Therein the Christians endure great loss and victory.
Underline the line, strike, spare none of them. What does that mean? It says strike, spare none of them. This is Roland's order to his men, his command. Kill them all, which means, you can write this too in the margin, no quarter. Q-U-A-R-T-E-R, no quarter. That means no prisoners. And they usually on a battlefield would display a black flag If you raise the black flag, it's telling your troops, don't take prisoners, kill prisoners. Now, what's happened to the Muslims at this point? What do they do? Look at about 6 lines down. Even as the deer before the deer hound flees, so before Roland the Paynim show their heels. What does that mean? They show their
weakness.
what?
Show their weakness.
By doing what?
Showing their heels like healers do.
By what?
Uh,
If you show somebody your heels, which direction are you going? The opposite direction. So they're retreating. They're fleeing the battlefield. Now, how many French are there? 60. Why would these massive numbers run away? Just make a note of that. We'll go to Davis and then Rachel. Did we skip you, Mal, or you just read it?
I just read.
Okay, Davis.
When it is known no prisoners will be made, men fight back fiercely and stubborn in the fray. Therefore the French grow very lions for rage. Here comes Marseille, and as a barren grave, riding a horse, and Gagun, it is its name. Full upon Devon, rides and spurs amain. Nat held all Boyne and Dijon for domain. The shields he shattered, and the hauberk he breaks, and lays him dead. He need not to strike again. And Ivan and Ivor too, his mate, and geared to of Rouslan he slays. Roland the Count, who is not far away, cries to the Paynim, God damn your soul, I say, these my companions, by treason you have slain, ere we go, hence a better price you'll pay, and you shall learn the name of good blade. He rides to strike him, and born brave, from his sword arm he shears the hand away, and Juferet the fair, he says, waylays. Marcillian's son, and slices off his plate.
Pate is head. It's a French word for head. So you behead somebody.
The Paynims cry, Mahound to aid. Venge us on Carlin, all you gods of our faith. Into our land he sends this evil race. Come life, come death, they'll never quit the place. Then one to other cries, fly then, fly in haste, and 100,000 have fled the field straight away. They not return, Paul
After them.
after them, who may.
All right, so a couple of things here I want you to note. Marcillian is out on the battlefield swinging and killing people, and he actually, I think it's Roland, actually rides up to him, and did you notice what Roland did to him?
Behead.
He didn't behead Marcillian, but he did do something to Marcillian. He cuts his right hand off. His right hand. Why is this ironic?
Because that's his best servant's place.
It's what?
And his right hand beholds his best servant or whatever.
That's right. So why is it ironic? What were we gonna say?
Because he's left-handed.
Is it? That would be ironic, but it's not.
Oh,
Why is this ironic? Yeah.
because Roland is, whatever.
Yes, you read?
Wasn't he the one that like dropped the glove, which was
That was Ganelon, but you're on the right track. Remember Ganelon went to Marcillian and said, if you kill Roland, you're actually cutting off Charlemagne's
Right now.
right arm. So this whole battle was an effort to cut off the right arm of Charlemagne, but the very person who was gonna cut off the right arm of Charlemagne, figuratively speaking, what happens to him?
You gotta try out.
He's the one who loses his right hand. So it's very ironic. You see how that's ironic? The guy who was gonna cut off the other guy's right arm figuratively, literally gets his right hand cut off. Now, you did say what looked like a cuss word, but you know what, being damned, D-A-M, or damnation, is really sent to hell. And so he literally means it. He's asking God to send that person to hell. I don't think it's something we ought to pray. It's not up to us to make that choice. So we're gonna skip 143, 144. What happens is Marsilian has reinforcements. And so they start to get ready to come in, and we'll go to 145. It's Rachel.
When Canaan see how few the French are grown, they claim themselves puffed up in pride and hope. Now to the emperor they say, his crimes come out. Marganise comes riding a sorrel colt, he sprays him hard with rowels of all gold. And from behind deals Oliver a blow, deep in his back the brandished nail is broke. But the spear's point stands forth with his breastbone. He saith to him, you have suffered a sore stroke, Charlemagne sent you to the pass for your woe. Foul wrong he did us, 'tis good he leaves his boast. Our woe requited our loss on you alone.
So, let me see if I can find a question here. 126, 127, all right, well, anyway, look at number 52. The author mentions numerous times that the Spanish turn and run from battle, including King Marsilian. What does this suggest the French think about their culture? What does it say about the French narrator? He says the Spanish, the Saracens, run away. Notice the French never run away. They didn't even want help. So what does that tell you about the narrator's opinion of the French, of this Saracen?
They're cowardly.
Right. It's not true. There's no group of people that are cowardly. All these people are cowardly. That's called stereotype. But that's the problem with the narrator. He is biased. So you're right. He's trying to imply that these Saracens are cowards. Plus, look how Oliver gets wounded. It's the first time he's been wounded. Where does he get hit? In his back, which is what cowards do, right? They don't attack somebody from the front. A Frenchman would never do that. Again, this is according to the narrator in his bias. I'm going to read one more and we'll be done. Oliver feels that he is hurt to death. He is. This is going to kill Oliver. He grasps his sword, Harleclair, the keen of edge. He smites Marganise on his high golden helm, shearing away the flowers and the crystal gems, down to the teeth, clean splits him through the head. So he cuts him from the top of the head down through his entire skull, shakes loose the blade and flings him down dead. And of course he has to insult him. Foul fall you, accursed Panem wretch. Charles had losses, so much I will confess. But ne'er shall you, back on the field you left, to dame or damsel return to boast yourself, that ere you spoiled me to the tune of 2 pence, or make your profit of me or other men. This done to Roland, he cries aloud for help. So we've got a couple of minutes. We're going to stop here. I'm not going to show it to you today. I ran out of time. But I've got a little short documentary of this battle. Since the battle is practically over, I thought we would at least finish it. But on Monday, I will show you this. So we are down to question number 53. So you've made a lot of progress today. So we're on 126. number 140, no, I tell you. Actually on 127. These are, some of these things are what I'll use for extra credit, like Pell Mell and Willy Nilly and Paladin, and there are others.
Unibrow, you pulled that off like a champ. No, right? What did you just say?
Dude, give me my Gatorade. Whoa. Drink all of it?
I used the chart, like, when she gave us, I used that. I know, that was a nice. Yeah, I used it for like not even flowing the floor.
Did you change it?
Oh, why?
Oh my God, we'll see you Monday, have a good weekend. Okay, we have a quiz on Wednesday.
One pair of 6 legs, yeah.
We need it. Why? Oh, we need the ball. Yeah, we have the ball. But still,
a yo to the kids at home. It's good. Still recording.